According to a report in Spanish newspaper El Mundo, North Africa is becoming a pressure cooker, with at least 50,000 African migrants desperate to cross into the European country via the Strait of Gibraltar. They're saying it's 50,000 right now. That number continues to grow. These men are becoming more violent in their efforts to reach Europe. And remember, so far in 2018, these are the official figures, 21,000 arrivals so far in Spain. That's quickened since the socialist government gave them the green light. But again, these numbers are wrong. These numbers are way lower than the actual figure because the countries are disincentivized from registering migrants. When the migrants arrive in these different European countries, there's no incentive to register them. We're back. It is the final segment of the fourth hour of the Alex Jones Show. Big story up on Infowars.com right now. Spanish police warn 50,000 migrants waiting in Morocco to invade Spain. And if you've seen the video of these migrants, we've posted numerous examples of it. Not many women and children there, are there? Not many. Police sources are warning that 50,000 illegal migrants from sub-Saharan Africa are waiting in Morocco to invade Spain. Now, this is because they've made deals with the people smugglers. The people smugglers are promising them that Spain is their paradise, and they're all bottlenecked up in Morocco, waiting to cross into Spain because basically Spain just got a new socialist government, which gave them the green light to do so, despite all the problems for the past 3 years that this has caused Europe. According to a report in Spanish newspaper El Mundo, North Africa is becoming a pressure cooker, with at least 50,000 African migrants desperate to cross into the European country via the Strait of Gibraltar. They're saying it's 50,000 right now. That number continues to grow. These men are becoming more violent in their efforts to reach Europe. And remember, so far in 2018, these are the official figures, 21,000 arrivals so far in Spain. That's quickened since the socialist government gave them the green light. But again, these numbers are wrong. These numbers are way lower than the actual figure because the countries are disincentivized from registering migrants. When the migrants arrive in these different European countries, there's no incentive to register them because if EU countries want to deport them, under EU law, they have to deport them to the very first EU member state they arrived in. So, of course, these EU member states don't want all the different migrants being sent back to their country because some of them have finally realized that you actually need border controls to have a country. So they're not registering them. So these migrants are completely unregistered. They're roaming around. The 21,000 figure is minimal. It's probably double that, at least, I would imagine. As Breitbart reported, the Dutch government has suggested that some 2/3 of illegal migrants who reach them have not previously been registered. So it could be as much as 3 times that number, suggesting the true migration figures could be far higher. Now, of course, last week we had 800 sub-Saharan migrants trying to cross the border between Morocco and the Spanish enclave of Ceuta, throwing feces, burning quicklime, stones, and Molotov cocktails at police. Yes, they're actually throwing crap at police, using saws, using homemade flamethrowers to try to get through these flimsy barriers. 600 of them succeeded in crossing the border. We posted the video of that last week. They're screaming wildly. They're running down the streets. Complete and absolute chaos and bedlam. And it's going to happen over and over again. Not just the beach arrivals, but now 50,000 illegal migrants bottlenecked between Morocco and Spain waiting to arrive. And that's just through that one entry port alone. That's the other entry port. You see the sea route, where they just get on dinghies and get ashore because the criminal people smugglers are conspiring with the NGOs to have them rescued off the coast of Libya. These people are not rescued near Spain, near Italy. They're not drowning, although Italy has halved the drowning deaths. So again, Italy institutes strong border controls to protect their country, to protect their culture. It results in migrant drowning deaths being halved. Meanwhile, Spain incentivizes the migrants to make that dangerous journey, which you just saw on the dinghy boat there, More migrants are going to die, okay? The real humanitarian option is to have actual borders because it disincentivizes them from coming in the first place. The people smugglers go out of business, and the brain drain of all these people leaving these African countries is, at least stemmed to a certain extent. So the true humanitarian policy is to have strong borders. But still, there are an entire army of left-wing idiots who don't know any of this. They just think, oh, I have a heart, I'm a liberal. Of course we should support refugees. It's women and children drowning in the sea. No, it isn't. The vast majority are fighting-age men, as you can see in all the videos. German students empty water bottles on their heads in protest against drowning refugees. Again, the height of absolute idiocy. Students of the Munich movie school held a protest against their state's migration policy, even though Germany's already let in 2 million. No, not enough, not enough. Mass assaults, mass sexual assaults at Cologne. People trying to blow themselves up at music festivals. No, not enough. People barreling in trucks through Christmas markets in Berlin. Not enough. We want more. We want more. Pathological altruism every single time. During a visit of the Bavarian Prime Minister to the school, the students emptied bottles onto their heads to draw attention to the situation of refugees in the Mediterranean. And as you see here, it looks like complete absolute idiocy from like 14-year-old kids who don't know anything about the situation, anything about the specifics. The Italian government has literally stopped over 1,000 migrants drowning from having strong border controls. So if these kids get what they want, they will ensure that more migrants drown. Okay, so their protest is going to achieve the exact opposite of what it is supposed to achieve. You frigging morons. Daily Mail reports 4 French police officers are seriously injured during a savage ambush by drunk UK-bound migrants in Calais. There's still hundreds of people in Calais. Macron raised the migrant camp. It did nothing. They just came back, or they went to other areas of France. It's a total mess. His approval rating is the lowest ever. 4 French police officers have been seriously injured during a savage ambush by drunken UK-bound migrants in Calais. One, an officer in a CRS riot control unit, was particularly badly hurt after being hit repeatedly around the head with a large stone. There's a picture of the stone. It's as big as the man's hand. Here you see footage out of Calais where it looks like a literal zombie attack in the night, where they're just roaming around, trees as roadblocks, branches as roadblocks. They set things on fire to try and hijack these vans. In some cases, the vans are being driven by women. They're threatened with rape. This is the situation in Calais right now, and we just had another attack on police officers, but forget about that. Let's all just pour bottles of water over our heads because we're liberal. Doesn't matter about the fact that people are being raped, people being assaulted on the streets of Sweden, Germany, the Netherlands, everywhere you go. No, we need more. We need more because it's pathological altruism. Spain denies mass migration, says Europe needs new blood. Again, it's not enough. So again, this is the Spanish foreign minister claiming that, oh, it's only 21,000 migrants so far. Well, we've already proven that that's not true. It's probably 60,000 in the first 7 months of 2018 alone. And he's saying we need new blood because the population's dying off. We need workers. We need people to fund the pension obligations, even though in virtually every example provided, migrants go on welfare. In Sweden, it's 58% of welfare recipients are migrants. Okay, they don't get jobs. They don't fund the system. They suck off the system. That's not what's going on. People are literally being replaced. And fine, if you're going to have a decline of population, you can manage a decline of population, or you can incentivize your population to have babies. Spain has just spent 30 million euros, and that's going to rise, on a plan to deal with all these migrants that are literally throwing crap at border police using flamethrowers. They're literally catering to them, spending 30 million euros. Meanwhile, they've still got an unemployment rate of 15% plus. They've got a youth unemployment rate of 33% plus, and yet they're still spending money on this pathological altruism. Absolute insanity. Italian boat returning migrants to Libya may have broken law, UN agency says. So the UN has ignored people smugglers working with NGOs who have actually broken the law for the past 3 years by picking these migrants up from Libya as a taxi service, bringing them to Europe. Then half of them just disappear. They're not even registered. They've broken the law. They did nothing about that. They said nothing about that. Oh, but now Italy, because it actually has border controls now, thank God for Salvini, picks these migrants up, saves their lives, returns them to Libya, with not being thanked, by the way. We had a story a couple of weeks ago where they saved these migrants from a dinghy, and then the migrants threatened to kill the people who saved them on the boat because they knew they were being sent back to Libya. That's breaking the law, says the UN, actually coordinating with criminal people smugglers who have incentivized the drowning of thousands of people through these Soros-backed NGOs. That's perfectly fine. Absolutely incredible situation. That's going to wrap it up for the show. War Room with Owen Schroyer is coming up. Breaking news at Infowars.com. Don't go away.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
You know, President Trump talks about how we need to be trailblazers, how we need to be outsiders, how we need to expose the current stagnant system that's been suppressing us, wanting to make us poor so he can consolidate control and buy us up for pennies on the dollar. That really is the globalist system. And he's absolutely right. So it is an honor to be persecuted by the globalists and to be lied about and to be demonized. But it's an honor to draw them out so we can show who they are, so that you take action and you take the country back politically, culturally, spiritually, financially. Another hero is Julian Assange, who's been in solitary confinement in a closet-sized room. They converted a closet with a bed and enough room for a laptop. They took that away over a year ago. No communication with the outside. It's all been one hell of a time for him, and he was very bipartisan in that he exposed Republicans, he exposed Democrats. He very judiciously released information that exposed criminal activity of the NSA, criminal activity of the CIA, illegal spying on Congress, illegal spying on Trump, illegal spying on me. But they had my home number, my old cell, my new cell, and my office line. And they had Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago private apartment number that I had. Total proof of Obama spying on Trump and yours truly a decade ago. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the real deal. And America's had freedom so long, people don't recognize real tyranny when it hits them right between the eyes. But everyone needs to go to Infowars.com. The article is right up there at the top of the page, red link. Petition to Trump, pardon Julian Assange. And we go over the fact that he engaged in regular journalistic activity and did a wonderful job being advised by top journalism professors around the world, and that he was very, very fair about what he did, and that you need to send the message that he's a hero. Now, I know they claim he's a Russian agent with no evidence and all the rest of that garbage, even though they've released stuff on Russia and Israel as well, and China. But it doesn't matter. It's the right thing to do. And you wouldn't have gotten elected without Drudge. You wouldn't have gotten elected without what you've done, obviously. You can't say it's any one person, but without any of us together, it wouldn't have happened. So we need the president to pardon Julian Assange. And you said in a speech, I don't care who got her illegal server. It's illegal. It's about what she did that's wrong. Don't change the subject. Go back to that instinct, sir. But you told Assange, release it. You said release more stuff. And he's in the crosshairs. And he needs to be pardoned if he's brought back to the United States.
Survival Shield X2 Nascent Iodine. If you're interested in healthy thyroid, if you're interested in well-being, if you're interested in having a higher IQ, which this has been linked to, get your powerful Survival Shield X2 at InfoWarsStore.com.